Welcome into the first ever edition of USL Pro Weekly on video. I'm pleased to be joined by Chris Economides, USL Pro Senior Director. And Chris, first weekend of action is complete. We've had one game in USL Pro this weekend as the LA Blues took victory against the Phoenix FC Wolves. Big win for the Blues. I mean, it's the third home opener in club history. First time they've won the home opener. How important was that for them to get off on the right foot?
I think it was actually it was imperative that they get off to a good start. They were a quality team last year that just had stretches of games, where they had a really tough travel schedule last year. Being on the West Coast, this year's going to be a little bit easier having a travel partner like Phoenix, a mere 4 or 5 hours away. So it was a big first game win for the Blues under their new head coach there. So Phoenix played very, very well for an expansion team. We expect bigger and better things out of Phoenix, and they've got their opening game coming up this weekend, so we'll see how they fare in game 2.
You just mentioned that they're going back to Sun Devil Soccer Stadium this Saturday night to host another expansion team, VSI Tampa Bay FC. Do we think they can bounce back? I mean, they were obviously without Darren Mackey on Saturday. They were without Devin Grouses, who's going to be an important part of the centre of their defence. Is that a nice chance for them to bounce back in their home opener this Saturday night?
We'll see. I think both squads have put together very, very solid teams. When you look at VSI's roster, it's a lot of players that have had USL Pro experience. So I'll be very curious to see. It's probably going to take some time for those guys to mesh as a unit. Phoenix, obviously, game 2. They've got one game under their belt. I'm sure it's going to be a really festive atmosphere at Sun Devil Stadium for their franchise home opener. So it should be a very interesting game to watch.
Keep an eye out this week for our interview with VSI's Matt Watson, the new head coach there, as we'll be talking to him on USL Pro Weekly later this week. The other big topic of the week, we're starting to see the names come out for the players that are coming down to MLS squads with affiliations. Orlando has received their players from Sporting Kansas City. Richmond's received some players from DC United, and then Harrisburg on Monday announced three of the players that it was going to be receiving from the Philadelphia Union. We've seen some of these guys before. We know some of the names. Who are you looking out for as far as making an impact in USL Pro this season?
Well, you look at a kid like Dom Dwyer, who just came down, and he had 4 goals in a preseason game for Orlando. You look at a kid like Jimmy McLaughlin, who's played in Harrisburg in years past. 19-year-old homegrown talent there. But overall, we're just excited about the whole MLS USL Pro affiliation. This is something that I think has been lacking in this country. We're thrilled from a USL Pro perspective to have the affiliations this year. There are only 4, but we've heard a lot of positive feedback in terms of other MLS clubs wanting to partner up with USL Pro clubs. And we think this is obviously the wave of the future and something great that'll benefit both leagues.
As far as Richmond's concerned, definitely Casey Townsend, experienced forward. I think he's going to have a really positive impact. But the kid I'm really excited to see hopefully play for Richmond a lot this season is Michael Seaton. 16-year-old player, just signed a homegrown contract with DC United and really could get a lot of playing time with the Kickers. Definitely a kid to watch out for. That's it for this week's edition. We'll be back this time next week. Hopefully you'll join us then.